So I'm back at Into Moto. Now they're creating a bit of a cruiser section in there, albeit not intentionally. So what you've got is the new Royal Enfield Super Meteor. So that bike is a lovely little 650 cruiser. But what that means is people are coming and they're part Xing their old cruisers. So they are getting bikes in here like the Triumph Speedmaster, they're getting used Harley Davidsons, they're getting different examples of different cruisers. So that benefits me because that means when I come here for a look round and see another cruiser, I've got to jump on it and see what is available. So join me for today. We'll have a look at what I've picked. Come on, have a look. It's a good one. Something a bit familiar for me today. So I've done a few bikes now comparing Harley Davidsons and other cruisers that are available at lower prices. But what if you still want a Harley? Then you hit the used market, don't you? And this is one of the bikes that Into Moto currently have in their very own cruiser section that they've got in the shop at the minute. What do we think? Let's have a look round the usual way. Let me know in the comments your view. This is the Sportster. It's a 1200, so it's the bigger one. And I like quite a lot about this bike. There's lots to like. There's a few things that I would say are a bit of an issue for me, but let's just have a look round and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Firstly, the colour. I like it. I know colour is always a personal thing, but I do like this kind of maroon colour that's on there. Purple, maroon, with a bit of red. Yeah, it's nice. I do love the side bags. Now they look brand new. They do. They look really nice. Yeah, that is nice. The engine itself has certainly been given a good old clean. There are odd scuffs on it, but you're going to get that. This bike is like 21, 22 years old. A Screaming Eagle exhaust on that's been nicely finished. As far as the brakes go, we've got the twin disc at the front. That being said, they look like they're only one pot, and the brakes, they do work quite well. They stop it, albeit you've got to squeeze them. And there is the other way round. Yeah, and you can see again, these bags look like they are brand new. As far as the paint job goes, it just needs a good old polish up. Looks fine on the tank. The tank still looks really, really nice and looks fairly blemish free. Yeah, the paint job on the tank looks nice, but the mudguard front and back have certainly seen better days. There's a little bit of damage there. Someone's tried to cover it up with a sticker, but you'll not fool me or anybody else with eyes. But do you know what? You're going to get that. It's a 20-odd-year-old bike. You're going to get things that aren't perfect on it. Priced accordingly. This looks fairly new as well. Nice little addition at the front. Don't know whether it suits the purple paint job though. It might suit mine better. Old school dials, gotta love it. I think the TFT screens can look great and everything, but you can't beat a bit of old school, especially when you've got an old school bike like this, or anything that looks old school needs to have dials for me, otherwise it just doesn't suit the whole look of the bike at all. So buttons wise, Harley Davidson, very similar to the current ones. To be fair, there's not a lot going on. We've just got left side, we've got left indicator, we've got a horn, and you've got your high and low beam on your lights. Right hand side, we've just got your right indicator, we've got your engine cut off switch there, and we've got your start. and that is it. Like, the seat is very comfortable. You'd expect that in a cruiser because these are made to go for miles and miles. The ignition key goes in at the side. Don't know why they do it. It's always something that I've kind of thought, I don't know, I get a bit paranoid of. I like to see where the key is. If it's a keyed bike, I like to see it in front of me, so I don't leave it in there when I walk off and leave the bike, which I bet you could do. So you got to remember that on the side. Low seat again. But do you know what? That is why these bikes are so easy to manoeuvre, considering these bikes are heavy. It's got a big old lump of an engine there, so they are heavy. But because the seat height is so low, when you're sat on them, they're so easy to move around because you've got even my little legs able to push you about. So it's just really easy. So if you are a shorter rider, or as I like to say, average height, you're not going to have any issues moving this bike about at all, because I don't. One thing I will point out though, so on my own Harley, is a 2019 bike, so it's a little bit newer than this bike by 20 something years, but my own bike, my gears are around here somewhere, so they're more forward controls. These are more mid controls for me, so your riding position feels a bit strange to me because I'm not used to this kind of peg placement, certainly not on my own bike. But once you get used to it, it's actually quite a comfortable place to put your feet. You can see relatively straight with my leg. I'm not down, I'm not up. One thing I will say though is, if you are a taller rider and you're interested in something like this, go and sit on it, because if this was any higher, I would feel a little bit scrunched up. And if you've got longer legs than me, which the majority of the world do, this might feel a little bit tight for you, which is why the Sportster brand has always been considered as a girl's bike. I disagree with it completely because I own one, but that, yeah, I can see why they would say it, because they do tend to be the smaller versions of what Harley do. But it suits me as a smaller rider. I like mine. Enough walking, man. Let's just go and have a ride. I'll show you exactly how it performs. The initial impressions so far, oh, albeit I think there might be a ghost on it because it's moving the bars. Hopefully not. No, it's a nice bike. Just join me for the test ride and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's go. Now it's nice being on something nice and familiar. Now, friends of the channel, people who've been here before, you'll know that I like my cruisers. I've got a Harley myself, and to be on a Sportster is just nice and familiar for me. Now, I will say mine is a modern version. Mine's only a couple of years old. This is 21 years old, so it's more of a classic. But do you know what? It's still got that really just very characteristic Harley Davidson chug about it. It's got that very lazy engine, hasn't it, that just sounds like it's struggling to turn over. It's just how Harleys sound. Brilliant. It's certainly got enough power. The brakes feel a bit of hard work, to be fair. You need to properly squeeze them to get the bike to stop properly. They work. It's a nippy thing though, as you would hope for 1200cc. It does get to the speed limit quite quickly. Again, you would want that for a 1200cc bike, but it sounds lovely. Sounds as you'd want a Harley to sound. It's nice having this old school dials as well. No digital things trying to confuse you, no little tiny screens like the modern bikes have got. It's just a nice feeling old school bike. USA dial there, and gasoline, unleaded gasoline only. Yes. I love it. British Heart Foundation in front, says life-saving. Driving like an absolute knob, and they're going to end up killing someone driving like a knob. Absolutely the most ironic signage on that van ever. Saving lives, driving like a knob. Absolutely thrashing the nuts out of that little van going in between traffic. If I'd have been any quicker, I'm sure it would have just took me out on the last stupid manoeuvre it did. Brilliant. It goes round the bends really nicely. Let's do a brake test. Yeah, do you know what? The brakes are actually quite good, but you do have to press them, and you've got to press them quite hard. If you don't press them hard, then this ain't stopping quickly. But if you press them hard, no issues whatsoever. Now, I know there's a lot of people that don't like Harley Davidson. And to those people, I would say go and try one. Before you just dismiss altogether, go and try one. Go and see how they feel yourself. Before you just dismiss them because everybody else has told you that they're tractors, or everybody else has told you that they're just no good for UK roads, go and try one. Because I've got a friend who has always been in that camp, and I managed to get him to try one very recently, and he's already now planning to buy one, and that is off a ride. And I think that's just standard with these bikes. I think if you get them, if you understand what they're all about, and you do feel that little bit special when you're on them, and you do, no matter how small, ugly and fat you are. And yeah, I am talking about me. When you sit on one of these bikes, you do feel that little bit special. And then especially when you open it up, even just a slight bit, and you hear the roar of that engine, it just puts a smile on your face, because you know you're on something that little bit cheeky, because it's loud and very cheeky. Oh, now that's a bit of a beast. Yeah, we like that. Even being stuck in traffic is nice when you're on a Harley, because it's got a nice comfortable seat. Anyway, enough gushing. I will always gush over a Harley if the Harley feels nice. You'll know I've done new Harley Davidson videos recently, and they've not actually suited me personally, so I've told you exactly what I think about them and the uncomfortable seats, etc. But if it's nice, I'm going to tell you it's nice, and this is a lovely bike to ride. It is very much how you would expect a Harley Davidson to ride. It's loud, it's got a little bit of vibration, but not a lot. The seat's comfortable. When you're sat in traffic, there is little to no vibration other than through your bars. Your bars have got a little bit, but that's it. If you're looking for a used classic Harley Davidson Sportster that isn't perfect by any stretch, it's got a couple of battle wounds as you've seen in the walk round, but if you're looking for something that, you know, is a little bit cheaper, you could even have a little play with it yourself to make it better. I'm sure it would only take a little bit of playing to make this bike perfect. But yeah, it's available at Into Moto, and thank you very much for those guys for letting me go out and play on it today. So I'm going to take this bike back now. It's gonna get a clean because I've unfortunately got caught in a little bit of a drizzle, so it's gonna need a bit of a wipe down. So sorry to Duncan there, who will probably end up having to do that, but I'm going to take it back in there so it can get ready for whoever buys it. If you're interested, be quick, because Harley Davidsons, certainly the cheaper ones, they don't tend to stay in the shops for long, because there is a bit of a following for them and people will travel for them. So if you're interested, be very quick. I'll put a link in the description. For now, I will say goodbye and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.